types of things will comes into the deep learning, that NLP, which have the NLP inside.
Okay. So the thinking here is correct, almost. Anyone else want to have a guess or something?
सर हाँ सर डीप लर्निंग हम कह सकते हैं इट्स अ पार्ट ऑफ एआई दैट टेक्स इनपुट लॉट ऑफ कॉम्प्लेक्स डाटा टू मेक लॉट ऑफ
ठीक
अदर
है, कॉम्प्लेक्स डेटा
ऑपरेशंस।
एंड कॉम्प्लेक्स
जैसे डीप
इंफॉर्मेशन।
फेक होता है, डीप फेक आजकल काफी चल रहा है, डीप वॉइस इमिटेशन हो रही है, तो आई थिंक ये डीप लर्निंग के थ्रू ही हो रहा है जो हम देख पा रहे हैं।
ठीक है, ऑलमोस्ट ऑलमोस्ट देयर। सो करेक्ट
हम्म।
है, दोनों का ही आंसर करेक्ट है। सो द आइडिया इज दैट, जैसे इनिशियली आई टोल्ड यू, देयर इज दिस लार्ज सर्कल दैट इज कॉल्ड एआई. There is this large circle called AI, artificial intelligence. Inside this large circle, there is machine learning. So machine learning is a part or subset of AI. Inside this machine learning, there is another small circle that is your deep learning. Right? Deep learning is a circle inside machine learning. And the thing is that these are also machine learning algorithms, but they are used for complex data. They have higher level architecture, and these are used mostly for image data, audio data, or textual data, right? So when we have a lot and lot of data, we use deep learning models, right? And they have their advantage. Like if you will go for image now, a normal machine learning model, the normal ones that we use, can give you 60 to 70% accuracy, max to max 75%. But a good deep learning model can even give you 99.9999% accurate information. So deep learning can be very accurate when we deal with image and textual data, but it is also having some disadvantages of the same. So disadvantages of deep learning, it is that the algorithm takes a lot of time to train, and it also takes a lot of data to train. So when we are talking about deep learning, we need to give it, if it is an image kind of scenario. So when I give you that X-ray example, that I will give X-ray images and it will tell me if it is fracture or not fracture, it needs a lot of images. It cannot work on 100,000 images. It should get at least millions or a lot more than millions in the same. And it also takes a lot of time to train. It is also very resource computive. So if I will give you a very simple example, if I have a laptop, I have a normal laptop with i5 i7 processor and 8 GB RAM. If I'm training a very good deep learning model on millions of images, it can even take 3 to 4 days to just complete the training process, right? And when we talk about very high computing models, they use a lot of graphics also. So deep learning algorithms along with CPU are also depend a lot on your GPU for parallel processing to make it faster. And if you are anywhere aware about Nvidia and the hype around Nvidia, if you are into those things, you understand that Nvidia has been in hype for past 2 to 3 years, and the stock has been rising at a very high rate. So the major boost behind Nvidia is the usage of GPU in deep learning models. That is why Nvidia has been growing at a very faster rate, because initially GPU was used in gaming laptop, GPU graphic, whatever you have, graphic processing unit. So initially it was used in gaming. So gaming laptop में आपका GPU card होता था, but now that it is used a lot in deep learning and AI, that is why Nvidia has been growing at a faster rate, but that is not our concern as of now, right?
सर ये जो
Unless you have
एनवीडिया ना
invested
सर,
in
ये
Nvidia. Yes.
सर एनवीडिया बेसिकली मैंने पढ़ा था ये एक्चुअली में चिप्स बना रहा है जो आईसीज होते हैं, जो ये शायद मशीन लर्निंग या डीप लर्निंग को का सपोर्ट करेंगे आगे जाके जीपीयू में, है ना?
चिप्स में होते हैं हम लोग के सीपीयू और जीपीयू. ठीक है, सो
हम्म।
सीपीयू आपका जैसे i5 i7 राइजन 5, दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स आर देयर. जीपीयू आपका होता है जैसे ग्राफिक्स कार्ड, एनवीडिया और एएमडी के आते हैं. इनिशियली गेमिंग के लिए बहुत ज्यादा लोगों को होता था, लाइक GT5 के लिए
हाँ।
आपको 2 GB 3 GB एनवीडिया GTX वगैरह आते थे, राइट? सो दीज आर ऑल्सो चिप्स, जीपीयू चिप्स हैं, सीपीयू चिप्स नहीं. दीज आर नॉट सीपीयू बट दीज आर जीपीयू. तो इमेज प्रोसेसिंग में व्हेन वी आर पैरेलली प्रोसेसिंग अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स, जीपीयू आर रिक्वायर्ड. तो क्योंकि गेम में रेंडर होता है, जैसे इफ यू विल टेक एनी ओपन गेम लाइक GTA, कॉल ऑफ ड्यूटी, कोई भी ऐसा गेम है, सो व्हेन यू आर मूविंग, थिंग्स आर लोडिंग साइमल्टेनियसली, है ना? ऐसा तो नहीं होगा यू विल टेक वन स्टेप और फिर पूरा लोड होगा, तो इट विल लैग अ लॉट. सो यू नीड अ गुड जीपीयू. नाउ इन मशीन लर्निंग AI, डीप सॉरी, नॉट एग्जैक्टली मशीन लर्निंग, बट डीप लर्निंग एंड जनरेटिव AI are dependent a lot on GPU, and that is why we require a lot of chipset, right? So that is some different thing, but that is there, right? So deep learning, again, the algorithm learns to represent data in multiple levels of abstraction by using complex architecture composed of interconnected layers. Do not try to go into technicalities, it is not your concern. So ये high level architecture क्या होता है, interconnected layers क्या होती है, unless you are into data science or you want to go into machine learning in future, then you can go through it, but don't waste a lot of your time on what is this, what are the technicalities here. But if you want me to explain, I would be very happy. Then example is image recognition. So in image recognition, a deep learning model can be trained on data set of image being labeled with corresponding object or categories, right? So there are a lot of interconnected layer, and first we have to convert our image into numerical format, because कोई भी machine learning model or computer will only take numbers, it will not take images, it will not take text. So you have to convert this into images to number, and then you have to train a deep learning model. So that is why the process is a lot more complicated, and that is why we use deep learning. So deep learning is not different from machine learning. It is a specialized form of machine learning where we use complex architecture composed of interconnected layers. So keyword for deep learning is your layer. Okay, there is an input layer, there is an output layer, there is a in between layers are there. So that is how deep learning is there. I hope deep learning is clear to everyone. Don't worry about the, how they're exactly different. Just try to know interconnected layers, and it is a part of machine learning, mostly used for image and text.
Yeah, makes sense, sir.
Okay, great. So now let us move to NLP, I think, which is the last one here. Yes. So NLP stands for natural language processing. It is a branch of AI that is focusing on interaction between computer and human using natural language. The goal of NLP is to enable computer to understand, interpret, generate human language in a way that is meaningful to both meaningful and contextually relevant. So see, in machine learning and deep learning, or even AI, there are majorly two what we can say specialization. So the basic one in machine learning is when you are using normal data, a tabular data. जैसे हमारा sales data is there, fraud transaction is there. So data is stored in tables, right? Data is stored in tables, and there is label or not labels, but it is stored in there are columns and there are rows, basic SQL database. But when we say in specialization, there are NLP, that is natural language processing, and computer vision, that is CV. Right. So computer vision is all about image, NLP is all about text. So NLP is natural language processing, and natural language is the language we are using. So if you talk about Python, C++, Java, these are programming languages. But natural language, what we use, Hindi, English, Punjabi, French, German, whatever language is there that humans have created. Now, the problem with NLP is that, first of all, you have to convert images into text, right? So the basic thing is that you can tell the computer to learn the grammar. You can tell him to learn the rules. That is not the very difficult part for a computer, because rules are fixed. There are, like, even in English, there are few exceptions, but to write a sentence, there are rules, like article is there, noun is there, subject and verb, subject verb agreement, past tense, present tense, rules are there. But inherently, humans do not talk with rules. They will write wrong spellings, grammatical mistakes human will make. They will also write in mixed language. They will also write sarcastic things, lame things, right? So when there is a sarcasm, where there is a joke, computer cannot understand, even the grammar cannot explain a joke, right? When there is a sarcastic comment, like, I think India is not batting very well, and if people say, oh, very great performance by India, so they are mocking the performance, even though, we are all out at 40-50 runs. So these kind of things computer cannot understand directly. So there are ways to do it. So we have to do, first of all, convert text into numbers, and using machine learning we can create things that can understand. So even when we talk about sentence translation, so it is not a word to word translation. If I'm saying that how are you, if the sentence is how are you, right, how are you, so this is a 3-word translation. If I will just use a Google Translate, and if it will translate word by word, it will not make any sense, because how are you in Hindi would be kaise ho. So it would be a 2-word sentence instead of 3. So machine has to learn all the 3 sentences, what the meaning of the sentence is, actual meaning and the inherent meaning, if this is a question, if this is a statement, if this is a sarcastic remark, and then convert it into the Hindi or Urdu or German, French, whatever other languages counterpart, and then you can get something. So natural language processing is a subset of machine learning or deep learning where we can use text understanding, speech recognition, text generation, machine translation, sentiment analysis, and text summarization. Okay, so these are some of the uses, like Google Translate is there. Even ChatGPT is a very, it is even generative AI is based on NLP only. And when computer understand your language, then only it can respond. So in ChatGPT, there are a lot of NLP techniques being used, and it is not just someone can create a ChatGPT. So a lot of 100, 200 team of people are creating models, are working on data sets, are working on these kind of things, and then they are creating this kind of algorithm that can understand human language, that can talk to humans in a way humans talk to each other, right? So NLP, why I am telling you apart from others is because it is a very hot topic right now, and a lot of people are, focusing on the same. One last thing that I would want to tell you is generative AI. I hope you already know what generative AI is. It is a part of artificial intelligence that can generate.
Hi Saurabh, sorry to interrupt.
Mhm.
Sorry, I joined late. Just I have one question. Can I ask
Okay.
right now?
Yeah, sure.
Wanted to have a little bit of idea about neural networks. I think that's a part of deep learning. So if
Yes,
you
yes.
can give some idea.
Okay, sure. I will give idea. Okay, don't worry. I will just give me a minute. I will explain generative AI, then I'll
Sure,
explain neural network. Okay.
no issue. Thank you.
So generative AI is when our artificial intelligence model can generate output. So if you take example of ChatGPT, so if you will ask the question to create an image, to write a essay, it is not like it is downloading from somewhere and giving you the response. It is writing there and then. So you can ask it to write something that it does not know about. You can write it to create an image that does not exist. Like if I will ask ChatGPT to create an image of Taj Mahal that is blue in color and the sky is black. So something like this does not exist in real world, but AI can generate. So that is the part of generative AI, and it requires a lot of inherent deep learning models, and it is now used a lot in video, audio, and image. If you can see in the social media, there is a lot of things people are using AI to create songs and all those kind of things. So those are example of generative AI. So again, as an analyst, not very important how things work, but from an interview perspective, if by chance someone asks you, what do you know about generative AI, how do you think AI is useful, or those kind of things, you can have understanding what is machine learning and those kind of things. Now this would be the end of presentation. I will show you some recognition. तो कुछ नहीं है. It is one of the most basic project in NLP. I will give a text and it will recognize for me. जैसे अगर मैंने एक sentence लिखा ना, so it can recognize कि okay, this is a name, this is a place, this is a article, right? This is a organization, these kind of things. It can recognize the entity. So in a sentence, if I'm writing that Barack Obama was the president of USA, so my machine learning algorithm can recognize that, okay, Obama is the name, USA is a location, president is a designation, these kind of things, right? Identifying and classifying entities. That is the basic role. And second was sentiment analysis, right?
Yes.
So sentiment analysis is mostly used in reviews and something. So let us say I want to know the sentiment of people on social media. So I can use the text and understand if it is positive, negative, happy, sad, these kind of things. So the use case is that let us say I'm selling.
ये क्या कर दिया आपने?
Let us say I'm selling products on Amazon. Now on Amazon, or even if you take Cochex example, so on Cochex there is Google review section, and we have let us say 10,000 reviews, right? So now it is not possible for me to read 10,000 reviews and check, okay, this is positive, this is negative, this kind of things. So a AI model can go through all the 10,000 reviews and it can tell that like 7,000 have a positive sentiment, 2,000 have a negative sentiment, 10,000 are asking question, and these kind of people are angry, these kind of people are happy, these kind of things. So sentiment analysis is just trying to understand the sentiment of the people using the text. So tone kya hai, is it harsh, is it formal, what kind of things are there? This is the example of sentiment analysis. Okay, I hope it is clear.
सर हाँ, इसमें हम उसको भी एग्जांपल दे सकते हैं सर, जैसे इलेक्शन का टाइम होता है तो
इलेक्शन में
इलेक्शन टाइम
बहुत
पे
ज्यादा यूज करती हैं ऑल द पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज, जो भी ट्वीट्स होंगे या जो भी सोशल मीडिया इंटरेक्शन होंगे, They will
Yeah.
use it to understand कि क्या लोग किस बारे में लोग बात कर रहे हैं, what is the tone in a particular state or the entire country, and what kind of hot topics are there, कौन सी topics पर there are a lot of heated debates. Even they will do that. So politics, so they do a lot of social engineering, but yes, a lot of that is being used. They will try to find out the topics जहाँ पर they will see sentiment is very emotional here. So what kind of topics have a emotional sentiment that people will connect to? Then they will do rallies and or make posters on the same. So that is how it can be used. And depending upon what people or organization are, they can use it in a positive or negative way, but the thing is there to use. Okay,
Yes.
so now let us how the neural network is part of deep learning, but do you have any idea about machine learning algorithm? Anyone?
Not really.
Okay, not an issue. So let us try to understand a neural network directly. Very simple. If don't try to go into the maths here, just try to understand hota kya hai. So there is an input layer. There is an input layer, which means I will give input. There is the output layer that will give me the output. Beech mein there are a lot of things, and these are just mathematical functions. Okay, so let me give you an example. Let us say there is two input layers and one output layer. So input layer could be my score. So let us say I am saying 250 for 7 in, let us say, 3 input layers in 32 overs, right? So it can give me the output prediction of what could be the total score. It will say 321, right? So these kind of things are there. Now this is a very simple example. In real world, it has a lot of things. So okay, I will explain here. Don't worry if you don't understand a lot of things, but just try to have a look here. So when I talk about, let us say we have this data, right? We have this data, and it is the dosage to efficacy, right? So if you were taking a medicine and a doctor is saying that you have to take 5 mg. So if you will take 1 mg, it is not going to work. If you take 100 mg, it is also not going to work. Right. So you have to get an ideal dose, right? This is clear to everyone. The data that we have, very simple data, the dose should be effective, and you have to take this much dose, otherwise it would be not effective. Now, in very basic machine learning, we try to fit a line through here so that can make the prediction, but it is very difficult. So a deep learning model can be very, flexible in the same that it can even create these kind of lines. Okay. So this is a very simple example of a neural network. In real world, there would be 10 like this, lots and lots of functions, lots and lots of rows. यहाँ पर भी there could be 8 to 10. यहाँ पर भी there could be a lot of them. So this is a very, very basic, like the most basic example we can take. See, so here I will give a value, and this is my input layer. These are called your neurons, the functions here, these kind of things where we are adding or doing something. And this is your output. And we, with the input, we will multiply it by something, we will add something, we will pass it through a function, then we will again multiply it by something, and then we will get the output. And these some things are not random values, we have to find them out. So the training data is used to find the optimal values that will fit our output. Now there are a lot of things involved here. Back propagation के through we try to come up to these values कि यहाँ पे कौन सी values डालेंगे तो हमें सही output मिलेगा. And इसमें there is a lot of calculus also involved. So if anyone of you is aware about calculus or differentiation, right? So in neural networks, differentiation and gradient क्या होता है, derivative क्या होता है, these kind of things you have to, chain rule क्या है, these kind of things you have to have idea about, right? So if you're not into this kind of thing, then just go through the definition that neural network are part of deep learning algorithm that are used for creating algorithms that can work on complex data. Again, I will show you a very simple example. जैसे हमारी एक image होती है ना, तो this is a very simple example. जैसे हमारी एक image होती है ना, तो this is the image of a zero in grayscale. Grayscale में सिर्फ 1 और 0 होता है मेरे पास, black और white. उसमें भी अगर मुझे prediction करनी है, so there are a lot of values, and I can use this to make the prediction, and this is how a convolutional neural network looks like. So there are different type of neural network based on what kind of problem you are working on. and don't try to go supervised learning project. Also, in supervised learning, there are two things. One is classification. Let me write here via this because my handwriting. Classification, and another one is regression. Right. So the difference here is, in classification, we are classifying things like fraud or not fraud. You can classify things into colors, you can classify things into spam or not spam. In regression, we are trying to find the optimal value, like your electricity bill, your total score, these kind of things. So classification में क्या होता है? Let us say it is a spam or a not spam. Right, very simple. But regression में it is not black and white. Let us say मुझे टीम का स्कोर प्रेडिक्ट करना है, how much runs India will make. Now I predicted 303. I predicted 303 and India made, let us say मैंने predict किया 303.7 my algorithm, and India made 305 runs. So now this is not matching. If you'll go by the classification logic, this is not 305. But will you say that this is a wrong prediction, entirely wrong prediction?
No.
No, right? Because I'm very close to that thing. So this is regression when we are predicting the value, and in classification, we are just classifying the things. So what you can see here on your screen is a Python code to heart disease prediction. It is a classification algorithm for supervised learning. Do not worry about the code. यहाँ पे ये libraries क्या है, Python में क्या क्या किया. Don't worry about the same. Just go through it. Try to understand what kind of usage is there for machine learning. ठीक है. So हो क्या रहा है प्रोजेक्ट में, बस ये समझो यहाँ पे कोड क्या है, ये सब क्या चीजें. Don't worry about the same. Okay. So see, here we have this kind of data. ठीक है, बहुत छोटा ही डेटा है, 270 rows and 14 columns. ठीक है, this is my data. I have age of the patients, I have their sex, I have the chest pain type, BP कितना है, cholesterol, FBS over 120, EKG. I don't know what these things mean, but something in medical term I'm assuming. Exercise, ST, depression, whatever these things are, thallium and heart disease. So I have 270 patients and I have this data if they have heart disease or not. So now this is my label data set. What is the label here? This is the label. So what I will do, I will predict using this data till here if someone has heart disease or not. So when I will train, I will use the entire data. When I will test, I will not tell the algorithm about this. Right. So that is how we do. In general, we split the data into train and test. This is our data set here. We split the data into train and test, and then we do the prediction using logistic regression. This is the algorithm used for classification, right? This is a machine learning algorithm, not deep learning. And this is how it can give us prediction. And it is not always accurate. So if you will see, there is written print score 0.90. This means that our prediction is 90.7% accurate. 90.7% accurate. See, this y print gives us the prediction, and this y underscore test is the actual value. So see, here it is presence, here it is absence. So it is a wrong prediction. It can be wrong, it can be right, but the idea is to get it right most of the time. So I hope this is clear to you why we are using a supervised learning algorithm here in classification, and what other kind of uses could be there. यहीं पर हम लोग fraud transaction भी predict कर सकते हैं. We can predict winning or losing percentage, and a lot of things we can predict in the supervised learning algorithm. Clear to everyone? Don't worry about the code, just have a look at the data and have a look at the final answer. Okay, I hope this is clear. If there are any questions, feel free to ask. Then I will show you one very basic and simple example of salary prediction. So here we have very basic data. सिर्फ दो वेरिएबल है. In real world we will have a lot of data, but here for the sake of understanding, we have taken a very simple example. So I am predicting salary on the basis of number of years of working. So idea is जितना ज्यादा experience होगा उतना ज्यादा salary होगा, right? As my experience increases, my salary increases. So I will use this to create an algorithm. And in the particular algorithm, I can get the answer, right? So see, ये था मेरा डेटा जो मैंने यूज किया ट्रेन करने के लिए. ठीक है, my label was salary. And when the model has been trained, I can do something like this, that I will say predict the salary. मैंने input दिया 2.5 years of experience, and model ने salary दिया 49,046. So this is being the predicted salary by the model. Yes, someone was asking something.
सर
हम्म
सर जिसमें आप जैसे इसमें आपने लेबल लिया था, आई थिंक सैलरी का लिया था ना, ये
हम्म
तो सर जैसे इसमें अगर हम कुछ और लेबल्स भी ऐड कर सकते हैं, जैसे सैलरी है उसका डिवीजन क्या है, मतलब किस
बहुत कुछ
मतलब
ऐड कर सकते हैं, लेकिन टारगेट
हाँ,
वेरिएबल मोस्टली एक ही होगा जो हम प्रिडिक्ट कर रहे हैं।
हम्म
ठीक है, बाकी इसमें आप बहुत सारी चीज ऐड कर सकते हो, आप डिपार्टमेंट ऐड कर सकते हो, बहुत कुछ ऐड कर सकते हो वो। एंड इन रियल वर्ल्ड बहुत सारी चीजें होती हैं, जैसे मैं जहाँ पे जैसे मैंने डिजीज का दिखाया, सो एक्चुअल में व्हेन आप मेडिकल हॉस्पिटल और जब कोई रिसर्च कर रहा होगा, ही विल नॉट यूज 270 rows of data. He will use 20,000 30,000 rows of data, and he will use some complicated algorithms, and teamwork would be there, 5 to 6 people would work, they would code, they will test again. तो इतना छोटा कोड भी नहीं होगा वहां पे, बट दिस इज जस्ट फॉर यू टू अंडरस्टैंड द यूसेज, राइट? एंड यहाँ पर भी इट कुड बी अ वेरी लार्ज थिंग. सो व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट हाउस प्राइस प्रेडिक्शन,
सर ये
राइट? व्हेन वी
रिग्रेशन का एग्जांपल है ना सर, ये वाला
हाँ,
जो
दिस इज
ईयर ऑफ
रिग्रेशन, दिस इज
एक्सपीरियंस
रिग्रेशन,
सैलरी,
दिस इज
एंड देन सर वी
रिग्रेशन.
कैन आल्सो यूज दिस इन जैसे स्टॉक प्राइस प्रिडिक्शन में भी इसे यूज कर सकते हैं ना, जैसे रिग्रेशन मॉडल को।
कर सकते हैं स्टॉक प्राइस में, एंड उसमें मोस्टली देयर आर टाइम सीरीज एल्गोरिदम्स आल्सो. सो टाइम सीरीज इज आल्सो अ
हम्म
डिफरेंट पार्ट ऑफ मशीन लर्निंग, वेयर वी आर डीलिंग विद डेटा दैट इज चेंजिंग विद रिस्पेक्ट टू टाइम. ठीक है, तो उसके लिए थोड़े से अलग एल्गोरिदम मशीन लर्निंग में, बट वी कैन आल्सो डू दैट. ये बेसिक एल्गोरिदम उसमें यूज नहीं होते हैं, बिकॉज द स्टॉक मार्केट डेटा इज लाइक सिंगल वेरिएबल है वहां पे प्रिडिक्शन के लिए. जो प्रिडिक्ट कर रहे हैं वो भी स्टॉक प्राइस है, और यूज कर रहे हैं पहले वाला स्टॉक प्राइस, तो वो सेम वेरिएबल है. सो देन इट इज
हम्म
अ डिफरेंट गेम. We have to see how the variable is changing with respect to time, and then आगे future कैसे predict हो सकता है. if there is a seasonality, अगर वो हर साल दिवाली में ऊपर या नीचे होता है, कोई ऐसी चीजें, then we have to use different models for different scenarios. Now I will show you very simple example of
सर
unsupervised learning.
सर एक और क्वेश्चन था सर. सर
Mhm.
एंड हाउ टू इंक्रीज द एक्यूरेसी ऑफ दीज डाटा मॉडल्स.
Okay, now this is a very बिग प्रोसेस. मतलब बहुत सारी चीजें कर सकते हो. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल डेटा शुड बी करेक्ट. ठीक है, डेटा सही होना चाहिए. बहुत जितना ज्यादा डेटा होगा, जनरली द आइडिया की ज्यादा डेटा होगा तो ज्यादा एक्यूरेसी आएगी. देन इट ऑल्सो डिपेंड्स ऑन द टाइप ऑफ एल्गोरिदम यू आर यूजिंग. जैसे लॉजिस्टिक रिग्रेशन है यहाँ पे, दिस इज द नेम ऑफ अ एल्गोरिदम. देन देयर इज डिसीजन ट्रीज, देन देयर आर सपोर्ट वेक्टर मशीन. तो डिफरेंट डिफरेंट एल्गोरिदम्स आर देयर. स्टैटिस्टिकल एल्गोरिदम ही है. यू विल इफ यू विल गो थ्रू इंटरनेट, यू विल फाइंड दैट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे दिस इज जस्ट अ मैथमेटिकल फॉर्मूला. हम वैल्यूज डाल रहे हैं और वो सॉल्व होके हमें एक आंसर मिल रहा है. बट द मोर डेटा यू हैव, यू कैन गेट एक्यूरेसी. डेटा शुड बी क्लीन एंड क्लियर, और डेटा में गलती नहीं होनी चाहिए. देन यू कैन यूज स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन, जैसे यहाँ पर किया है मैंने, स्टैंडर्डाइज कर दिया है वैल्यूज को. ठीक है, यू विल लर्न इन स्टैटिस्टिक्स स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन क्या होता है. एंड यू कैन देन यूज like neural networks or something. So if I will directly use a neural network, there is a chance I will get more accuracy. जैसे यहाँ पर 90 है, तो न्यूरल नेटवर्क से हो सकता है 99 आ जाए, बट अगेन डेटा शुड बी मोर देन इनफ. 270 रोज के डेटा में वी विल नॉट यूज न्यूरल नेटवर्क और सम कॉम्प्लेक्स एल्गोरिदम. तो दैट इज द मेन गेम ही यही है कि सबसे ज्यादा एक्यूरेट मॉडल हमें क्रिएट करना है. एंड देयर आर डिफरेंट मेट्रिक्स टू फाइंड आउट द एक्यूरेसी. एंड यू हैव टू डू अ लॉट ऑफ डेटा प्री प्रोसेसिंग. बहुत ही ज्यादा एल्गोरिदम तो बहुत बाद में आता है, पहले यू हैव टू गो थ्रू द डेटा. बहुत सारी चीजें उसमें चेंज करनी पड़ती है, जैसे ये है. तो इवन माई मशीन कैन नॉट टेक दीज वैल्यूज. ये भी जो प्रेजेंस और एब्सेंस लिखा हुआ है, आई कैन नॉट गिव इट टू माई मशीन. मैं प्रेजेंस को 1 लिखूंगा, एब्सेंस को 0 लिखूंगा, और वो नंबर वाली वैल्यूज अपनी मशीन को दूंगा. फिर वो नंबर प्रिडिक्ट करेगी 0 और 1 में, और फिर मैं बाद में उसको आउटपुट लेयर में कन्वर्ट कर दूंगा वापस 1 को प्रेजेंस और एब्सेंस को 0 में. ठीक है, सो दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स आर देयर, एंड वी हैव टू गो थ्रू अ लॉट ऑफ स्टेप्स दैट इज देयर फॉर द डेटा साइंटिस्ट. तो डेटा साइंटिस्ट का यही रोल है. ऐसा नहीं कि डेटा आया, एल्गोरिदम लगाई और ऑप्शन आ गया. They have to go through the data, they have to clean the data, they have to try different algorithm, किसमें ज्यादा एक्यूरेसी आ रही है, कैसे कर सकते हैं, क्या अप्रोच हो सकती है, एंड देन दे कम टू अ कंक्लूजन. ओके,
सर बिजनेस एनालिस्ट की कोर्स में भी तो सर ये है ना, पाइथन है, तो
पाइथन
हम
है,
करें
लेकिन
क्या.
मशीन लर्निंग नहीं है. मतलब ये सब चीजें आप खुद से प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हो, बट मशीन लर्निंग, डीप लर्निंग बिजनेस एनालिस्ट के उसमें नहीं है. इवन पाइथन इज ऑप्शनल फॉर बिजनेस एनालिस्ट, सो
तो
यू
सर
कैन
उसमें है
लर्न
ये
पाइथन.
चीजें.
ये नहीं हो सकता है, कोई एक प्रोजेक्ट हो, पांडास होगा, नंपाई होगा, स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन होगा, बट मतलब ये सब जो मैंने ग्राफ वगैरह बना रखे हैं ना, ये सब है, ठीक है, ये सब कुछ है, बट एंड वाला जो पार्ट है ना, प्रिडिक्शन वाला और ये वाला, ये नहीं है उसमें। लाइक यहाँ पर जो हमने प्रिडिक्शन करके ये चीज की है, दिस पार्ट, दिस होल पार्ट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ डेटा साइंस, अलग से है ये, और ये सीखने में इट टेक्स मोर टाइम। तो इसमें मैथमेटिक्स का भी अंडरस्टैंडिंग चाहिए एंड प्रोग्रामिंग का भी अंडरस्टैंडिंग चाहिए।
स्टैटिस्टिक्स आपको कहने का मतलब है?
स्टैटिस्टिक्स तो चाहिए ही, बट उसके अलावा भी आपको वेक्टर्स, इफ यू हैव रेड इन 11 12, तो वेक्टर्स, मैट्रिसेस
हाँ,
एंड
वही उसमें
डिफरेंशिएशन का
स्टैटिस्टिक्स
थोड़ा
पार्ट्स
बहुत
होता है,
चाहिए।
ये पढ़ा था।
बट डेटा एनालिस्ट, डेटा साइंस में आपको ये सब सीखने की जरूरत नहीं है। सॉरी, डेटा एनालिस्ट और बिजनेस एनालिस्ट में बेसिक स्टैटिस्टिक्स बस आना चाहिए, कि मीन, मीडियन मोड, ये सब क्या होता है, वेक्टर, मैट्रिसेस, डिफरेंशिएशन, ये डेटा एनालिस्ट और बिजनेस एनालिस्ट में इसकी कोई जरूरत नहीं, ठीक है। सो बहुत ज्यादा ये मत इसमें टाइम वेस्ट करना, अनलेस यू वांट टू एक्सप्लोर इट हियर। तब तक ही जब आपका बाकी सब कंप्लीट हो जाता है एंड यू थिंक यू हैव टाइम एंड यू थिंक दिस इज इंटरेस्टिंग इनफ, गिव इट अ ट्राई, बट डोंट deep dive into this unless you are very sure about the same. Okay, so now let us